For a business, the bottom line is the key, right? So now my day actually start by seeing a dashboard. But were we using the Excel sheets to the optimum usage? I would say no, we were not doing the justice to it. But now with dashboards, the Power BI, the usage of artificial intelligence, all this come up to you. They talk to you because I always believe it's about garbage in and garbage out. Software is just a product. We moved from using a paper-based or tree-made paper-based tissue and toilet or C4 towel to a bamboo-based product. Grid office, matlab 1.5 times the cost.
Correct.
Do we have that budget? I did it 10% lesser than my earlier office. So I'm not saying that I never had tough bosses. I had many tough bosses. Like I believe in North, we are a little more demanding as compared to the other part of the country. 60% of people came out and said that if we're called to office 5 days a week, we may look for another job. Office spaces are going to stay. They are not going anywhere. It's not that office spaces are going to close. That's not happening. Yes, the nature of office spaces are changing. How do you add value to the buck that we are paying? So one day I got a call from an employee that, sir, from our WC, snakes are coming out.
Oh my God.
So what? I checked 3 times. What are you saying, snakes?
Weirdest request a boss has ever made?
I think I better leave it at that.
He started in hospitality and now he manages how thousands experience work every single day. From Neemrana hotels to Piramal, he has not only built offices, he has crafted cultures. In this episode of The Corner Office, we go behind the scenes of a corporate admin, decode the silent power of infrastructure, and understand why real leadership is always invisible but essential. Hi, Aman.
Hey, Rajit, thank you so much for having me.
First of all, welcome. This is one of the episodes which I really look forward to.
Thank you.
Really glad to have you here.
My pleasure.
My very first question is IHM Jaipur to facilities.
Yeah.
How did this happen?
To be true, I also wonder sometimes how did it happen. Frankly, I was doing well. I was working in the hotels and then I met my wife. So for her, I wanted to come back to the city. I tried speaking to Oberoi's and Taj, take me, but they said no, your experience in the wilderness, you stay in wilderness. So that's where it started. So I had to come back to city. Then one day a consultant called me, there is some opening in facilities. I said, facilities? I am not aware. What is it? He said, nothing, it's like housekeeping, managing housekeeping. I said, yeah, that I know. That I've done enough. Let me go for it. And I went and they liked me and here I am. But frankly, now if I look back and I see, I think this is the only move which can happen seamlessly.
Right.
Because in hotels, I am taking care of housekeeping, I'm taking care of security, I'm taking care of guests, right? And in my existing profile, something similar, right? I take care of all those things. Only difference I see there, I take care of the external customer. Here I have internal customer.
Correct.
If I manage it with the same thing and my internal customer get the importance of external customer,
Right.
I think that's what admin is about. So, I think it's a seamless move. So it all fell in place. The God is good. He made it happen. So yeah, this is how.
Right, and it makes a lot of sense. So we've had Alok Bajpai previously in the podcast, and he also said how the admin practices have gone from policing to hospitality.
Yes. To great extent. I think, from my best of my knowledge, if I say earlier, admin used to be a times department in a factory where you used to put attendance. Kaun
Right.
kitne baje aaya, kitne baje gaya. That was more of an admin job. That's where the administration has actually started. That's what the facilities and the admin guy used to do. To now, actually we are the business enablers now, and it's good for all of us that we start believing it soon.
Right.
Even if somebody doesn't believe that, you better start believing it soon because that's what it is. Eventually, for a business, the bottom line is the key, right? The money saved is the profit.
Money saved is money earned.
Yeah, so it's as simple as that. So you start seeing yourself like that and you start behaving like that. So yeah,
Right.
This is my small bit on it. Yes.
So talking business, let's talk numbers. How many offices and how many employees do you actually manage?
All right. So Piramal, we are spread across India. So we have around 550 branches. Okay, and then there will be 10, 12 offices. And we also own 2 buildings. One is a 9 lakh square feet, one is 7 lakh square feet. Yeah, so that's my kind of portfolio that I take care of. In terms of employees, will be around 15,500 people.
15,500.
Yeah.
Wow. So how does your day look like, or how do you manage such a vast infrastructure and such vast majority of people?
I think I'm blessed with a good team, so that really helps me. My day go by. Obviously, it's in admin. The things have changed a lot. Earlier, it used to be lots of firefighting. Now, with technology and other things, I'm sure we'll cover it up in this podcast. But yeah, those things have really helped to streamline things.
Right.
So now my day actually start by seeing a dashboard. In admin, I could never imagine I will say that ever, to anyone, that my day starts by seeing a dashboard. Obviously, taking a round of a facility, seeing that everything is okay, it's like now in blood, it's normal. But other than that, now what I've learned is that my day start with seeing a dashboard. And then understanding what is happening where, it's one screen to give me the entire perspective of what is happening in my branches.
Right. And so you said you have a team, plus you have so many lakhs of square feet to take care of, so many employees to take care of. I'm sure there would be strong processes which you are leading. So just take us through the processes and take us through the entire work that goes being an admin, because here at the corner office, what we're trying to do is bust a lot of myths behind these designations, behind the work that people do in admin and procurement, right? So just help us bust some myths or understand what does the work go behind this and what are the processes.
If you talk about processes, I think we'll have to spend 2 more episodes on this. So there's so many processes. I would say that to me, admin is about everything that could help a business to grow. So improving the day-to-day tasks other than the sales. The business will take care of the business part, which is sales, marketing, and other stuff. To enable them to work efficiently, what is required to be done is to be done by a admin guy.
Right.
So that is what the thought process behind setting up all processes. Yeah, how can I make it efficient for the guy who's working on a ground, who's sweating it out, who's going out in the market, get the business? How can I make it more efficient for him? How can I improve the place in such a way that he can do his work better?
Right.
Yeah, so that's a thought. If that's a thought behind the processes become much more acceptable and easier to build. That's what has worked for me. But yes, admin can't always be about yes. Yeah, we are also the gatekeeper or the caretaker of ensuring that the right thing happen on the ground. So you can't just let everything happens in a free flow. So you set up some guardrails, you set up some processes where you say this is what is allowed, this is what is not allowed, and then you ensure that those are get implemented on ground.
Right.
Yeah, so that's also about it.
So starting out in Nahan, I believe you hail from Nahan, Himachal Pradesh.
Yes, a beautiful town. Yeah,
beautiful place.
Yes.
And now in Mumbai, managing these facilities. As you explained, this is a tough job, right? Admin, be it policing, be it facilitating, be it creating a hospitality environment for the employees. It is something which would be really challenging. So what I really wanted to understand from you is that how has it changed over these years, ever since you started out till now? Now, as you said that you would have never imagined looking at a dashboard. So how has the department or how has your work changed or evolved?
Oh, great question. And I think I will obviously not know what happened when I was not in facilities. Let me talk about my era. I think there are lots of paperwork we used to do. There are lots of paperwork. We used to document lots of things. Now everything has become digitized for us.
Correct.
I think we were talking about earlier, a little bit before this conversation, about the ease of doing everything, ease of doing business. And that's what we are expected to provide. Maybe my branch in Bijnor, or in some village in Karnataka, if they want to have stationery, they should be available on the click of a button.
Right.
Yeah, so that's my job to ensure that they have that facility there.
Right.
Rather than they searching out, moving in the market, picking up the paper and getting back to office, it should be there for them whenever they want. So, simplifying, that has happened over the past of year. Earlier, it was all branch driven or people driven. Now it's technology driven.
Right.
That's one of the main change that I'm seeing over the past of the with the years. Second thing, again, dashboard, which we spoke about. The data is the key element, which we all knew always. But how do we ensure that the right data comes up and talks to you? That we have learned over the years.
Right.
Yeah. So we were maintaining Excel sheets, but were we using the Excel sheets to the optimum usage? I would say no, we were not doing the justice to it. But now with dashboards, with Power BI, the usage of artificial intelligence, all this come up to you. They talk to you. The data talks to you. You understand on a click of a button which branch is going wrong. Which branch is spending more on electricity. Which branch you can concentrate a little more. And see that it can be more effective and more cost optimized. So you get to know just seeing a screen, and then you take your actions accordingly.
Right.
So yeah, these are the two things which I'm very happy that it happened, because otherwise it was very, very tedious and cumbersome.
Right. So you mentioned cost effectiveness, you mentioned cutting down electricity. So I believe a lot of your job would be to look at cost control, right? So in big corporates, where does cost cutting or cost control start?
I think I will not say cost cutting. In a big corporates, it's about optimization. It's a other term to it. But why I say that, the cost cutting means stopping the tissue paper from the washrooms. Cost optimization is use a better product which save you money.
Right.
Yeah, so that's the difference between the two.
Right.
Yeah, so that's what I meant when I say I do. Cost cutting is again stopping the tea coffee. Maybe the offices do not have ACs. So that's cost cutting. But it's not about that. It's about now ensuring the right temperature is set, so there is a comfort in the office, but you don't waste electricity, or you ensure that once the office is over, all electrical gadgets are switched off. Right. That's cost optimization.
Right.
Yeah, so that's a difference between the two. So, and we follow optimization as a theory.
Right.
That we work on prevention of additional expense. How do we identify those expenses, and how do we prevent it?
Right.
That's a thought. Yeah.
That's a very good insight actually, because a small terminology change, but it makes a lot of sense when you put it that way. Yeah. That cost cutting is essentially a very negative term, but cost optimization or cost efficiency makes more sense while you actually cut down the costs. Yes. So going back to what has changed. So this is something that you said that digitization has really come in and you're very thankful to it. And yeah, we all are, right? As opposed to that, what are, let's say, a couple of practices which have become outdated or which you think should be outdated by now?
No, I mentioned Excel sheet. Yeah, it can't be stopped. But there are better, efficient ways to do that work. That is definitely one. Okay. The second one is, again, my experience. I don't know about others, so I can only speak about my experience. So I'm not. But what we used to do is, we used to have softwares, but those softwares never used to speak to each other. So every time you do something, you have to do lots of manual work to make it effective.
Right.
Yeah, but now you have many such software which speak to each other. There are ways to develop them together. With that, it's kind of a hand-free experience. It becomes so seamless. Because I always believe it's about garbage in and garbage out. Software is just a product. Whatever you feed in will come out, right? So if you feed in not the right data, and if it takes too much of effort to feed in the data, eventually it's going to fail.
Right.
Yeah. So how can we make it hands-free? How can we make it simple?
Right.
Is the efforts which we are putting in now, and trying to build.
Right. In the end, these are just tools, right?
Yeah, true.
It's how you use them.
Yes.
Can you name a few? So you've mentioned a couple of times about softwares and softwares talking to you, data talking to you. Can you name a few which will help us understand better? Or
I'll give you examples. I don't know whether if you're okay with naming the vendors.
That's totally fine.
Sure. So Power BI obviously is one that we're using for all our dashboards. We have worked in another company called Smart FM. So they have built in a space planning tool for us. So what has happened? I will talk about my failure. That personally, I've tried this tool a couple of times, not with them, with other organizations, with other companies, and we have built it. And obviously, you learn with your mistakes, right? So every time, space planning tool normally, just to explain to the audience, it's identify each seat in the branch, and then you have 500 locations. So you have so many locations to identify those seats in, and then who sits on that place, and at one screen, you should see how many seats are available with you at any point of time in which location.
Wow.
Okay, so that's a tool we are talking about. So it's quite in depth and it need lots of working, right? So we built one, but there we used to add, whenever there's somebody leaves, somebody get added, we used to add them manually. Okay, that's what we are doing all the time, and obviously after some time it's so difficult. The office, like 1,000 seats in one office. The branches are smaller, but too many, right? 600 locations, and admin team size is what it is, so each person at least managing 50-60 locations,
right?
So it's tedious, right? So we used to push them, do it, they'll do, but eventually after a year or so it becomes too difficult to manage. And yeah, so this time when we created it, this was a thought very, very clear that we don't want to do anything here. So nobody will enter data. We have to find a smart way that it should happen without any interference. So with them, we built this tool where we had an integration between our HRMS software and the tool.
Okay.
So whenever the employees, so we know how many seats are there. We log in a layout into the system. The system tells that there are 100 seats in this location, and then there is a formula which is fixed that for this designation we'll give one seat. For sales, say for example we have 1:5 as a ratio, that 5 people get one seat.
Right.
All those algorithms are built in the system. And the HRMS feed in the data, how many people are in that branch, mapped in that branch.
Okay.
Now the system tells me clearly in 1 second that what are occupied, what are not occupied.
Correct.
And it happens for all locations. So I want to see it for a state view, I want to see it for a country view. So it's quite seamless, and it's doing fine. So that's one tool I want to talk about. The other one I'm very, very happy about is it's work in progress. I'm sure it will soon get matured. It's with another partner called Living Things. Okay. BRSR is another thing which government is mandated for all top 100 companies to ensure that they fill up their BRSR reports. It's a ESG report that you fill at the end of a year.
Right.
And also you need to have a sustainable or kind of you should have the documents to prove what are you submitting to the government. Yeah, and it speaks about my carbon usage, it speaks about my electricity, it speaks about my water. So getting all that together from all the location, it was quite a tedious task. Yes. So yeah, we were doing it manually up till now. So now this tool helps us to fetch the data directly from the electricity board. It not only calculates the unit that we're using, it also gives us kind of alarms if there is the penalty is due, or there is a power factor penalty coming up to us, or is a late fees. It does all that. It pays our electricity bill. And now we are considering the data is available at a screen, and we know what are our units, where is the additional load. We have corrected all that. So we are now working with them to optimize our electricity consumption. So we are working with them for all our branches. So the target is that we should save another 10-15% of our electricity spent by certain equipments. Yeah. So that's these are the two of them. Yeah. Another one is also work in progress.
That's really insightful how a corporate like Piramal is running with such professionalism and with such modern softwares, which listening to this is very insightful, and I'm sure it'll help to our viewers. So I heard ESG. I heard you mention ESG. I've seen this term cropping up a lot, majorly on websites, in annual reports of corporates. What does the term exactly mean, and is it something which is sort of similar to CSR, or is it a compulsion? Are corporates doing it willingly?
So it's about sustainability. So ESG is environmental social governance. That it's a responsibility of a corporate. If they're doing it willingly, I think they should do it willingly. Sustainability is a very, very critical element. I think we mistake it by that is only about the environment. No, it's actually about sustaining a company as well. Yeah, obviously we owe it to the earth, to the environment, that we should do things so that we leave the resources for our generations to come.
Yeah.
So that's we owe it to them. So, but it's also about sustaining a business. So that's what sustainability to me is. And ESG, government is putting in controls. They have said that you have to do certain things. Obviously, government has taken a goal on themselves that they will be carbon neutral. So obviously, if they have to do that, the companies has to contribute, right? So company has to do their part.
Right.
So BRSR is one of the government's way to know what organizations are doing. It's their formality that we have to follow.
Right. So let's say an MSME nowadays, if they want to practice sustainability, or if they are unaware of what ESG is or what sustainability is, how can they start somewhere?
Interesting, and start with small steps. You don't have to go big on everything. So I spoke about tissue paper earlier. So we moved from using a paper-based or tree-made paper-based tissue and toilet or seafold towel to a bamboo-based product. So that's not only saved us cost. It also helped us to save, I think, lakh of liter of water and carbon at the same time. So that's what I meant by sustainability, right? It's about the environment, but you are also getting benefit out of it. So,
Right.
So that's something which I think any company can do. If you are using such product, question whether, is there a better way to do it, which is more environment friendly, which is more sustainable, and also good for your pocket, So if you look at those products which are available in the market, so that I think is the easiest thing that organization can do.
But is it good on the pocket? Because maximum times when I have seen these green practices or sustainability products, the alternatives are always more expensive than your alternative.
I think I will call it a myth. I truly will call it a myth. You have to find a right partner. You have to work. There are enough or more products available, which will give you the benefit and also will be good on your pocket. I'll give you my own experience that, the first, in my last organization, we did an office of 75,000 square feet. And I took it on myself that obviously management also pushed that we should do it a green office.
Right.
And I was of the same opinion. Green office, matlab 1.5 times the cost.
Correct.
Do we have that budget? But when we started doing it, the office got awarded as IGBC Platinum Office. And I'm telling you, I did it 10% lesser than my earlier office.
Wow.
Okay, because unknowingly we are following those norms that are required. It's not that we are not. All the companies are aware of doing these efforts and they all want to do it. It's not that somebody want to harm the environment intentionally. I'm sure there will be some, but most of them do not want to do that. So they do the right things. Just that you have to acknowledge it, receive it, and take it ahead.
Right.
So most of us will not be aware of what we are doing, and how we are doing it. So that's another factor.
I think to start with, you should have an open mind for that.
Exactly.
Once you have an open mind, like you said, that
Yeah.
it is possible to cut down your cost even with green practices.
Yes.
And that is something that is necessary.
Yes.
Right. You said the management pushed for a green office, which brings me to my next question. Is having a flexible boss important in a corporate life?
Oh, very important. And, I would like to mention it that I'm been blessed with a very good bosses. And flexible, it gives you the perspective. It allows you to do what you have to do. So I'm not saying that I never had tough bosses. I had many tough bosses, but they have really taught me so much, that has made me where I am, frankly. So that's really has helped me to be where I am. But yes, that tough doesn't mean that, it doesn't allow you to do what you want to do. So it's between somewhere, right? So flexibility is very important.
Freedom and flexibility
Yes,
counts for a lot.
yes.
And as opposed to that, what kind of a boss would you say you are?
I try to learn from all the leaders that I've worked along, that I like to take their good practices. I think I give fair opportunities to my team to innovate and to do things. But yes, I want to be aware. It's not that I want to be everything, but I want to be aware. So I'm a boss who want to know what is happening around, so that if something goes wrong, that you are there for them to back it up. But yes, I think I give flexibility. I'm sure my colleagues will able to answer that better, but I think so I give flexibility enough.
Okay. And you mentioned that there are north of 16,000 employees. Do you see any difference in the culture of these employees in terms of different regions of India?
Yeah, there is a culture. I'm from north, so but yeah, I feel uh, the zone do differentiate the behavior of people. Yeah, so I believe in north we are a little more demanding as compared to the other part of the country.
Right.
We are, so I am also one of them, so guilty as charged. So yes, so that's one of them.
Your job would also involve a lot of interviewing people. So, really want to understand your perspective on how do you size up a candidate? How do you judge a candidate in that brief half an hour interview, or what are the questions that you like to ask them?
When I'm interviewing a person, I first see the attitude. That attitude to learn is very, very important. Yeah, because if you have attitude to learn, it becomes much easier to work with you.
Right.
Yeah, so if I know it all attitude, that's something which puts me off. Frankly, that's yeah. So that's one. Secondly, I also look for I would say opposite skills. That if I think the person has to be. It's not that I need somebody who will say yes to whatever I say. If I see other person has a skill which is opposite to a strength of mine, something which I lack in. So that's something which is a good benefit to have, because he can cover that up, right? So he can help me also to learn, and also we can do together as a team much better.
Right.
Yeah, so these are the few things which I see, and yeah, but attitude is a number one priority.
Right.
Attitude
So
is
he should be eager to learn.
Yes.
As opposed to having many skills, and he should complement you in your
Yes.
strengths.
Yes.
Yeah, makes sense. Yes. So also going back to bosses, I want to know if management still looks at seat warming, the very infamous topic of COVID and hybrid working is something I really wanted your opinion on, because you have seen it closely. Since 2020, there has been long going discussions between employees and between the management. How do you make hybrid work?
Yeah.
So I wanted your opinion on how you did it, as opposed to how the management would have wanted it to be.
See, you agree or not, but hybrid is there to stay. I was reading a survey very recently which says that 64% of CEOs want people to come back to office, and only 20% of people come back to office for 100% of days, whatever 5 days a week or 6 days a week that your culture is. So that's a contrast. So the hybrid working is going to stay. Yeah, so as soon as a company, as a management, we accept it, it is good for both sides, for the employees and for the company as well. Yeah. The another statistics which says that I think 60% of people came out and said that if we're called to office 5 days a week, we may look for another job.
Wow.
So it is that serious, that the hybrid working and a flexibility in present environment. Yeah, in our case, I would say that what works for us in the sense, we obviously have two sides. One is we are very technology heavy, so lots of technology guys work with us. I'll come to that a little later. But other ways, the works as such require lots of collaboration. It requires lots of innovation, and for that, working from office makes so much of sense.
100%.
Yeah. So
Yes.
if you're sitting at home, you can be a good self. Kind of a single player or individual player. You can do well. You can concentrate on individual related work.
Right.
But when you have to interact with team, you need to work together with the team. You prefer to be in office.
Exactly. So that is what I was coming to. That where does collaboration and culture come in when we talk about hybrid is here to stay? How do you make sure that collaboration and culture stays in the company?
Exactly. So, we were talking about our new office, for example, that we have done in Kurla. And that is obviously post-COVID office, and where we wanted people to come back to office.
Right.
So the office is designed in such a way that there are too many collab areas been created inside the office. So that people actually enjoy coming to that office.
Correct.
Yeah, that has really helped us to, I think, to get the people to office, that, you have that opportunity to collab and innovate in the office itself. While in technology, we tried the similar concept that we do all this, but in their work is more individual centric. They work on the software, they work on the coding and stuff, so there we are still, it's a little challenge to get people back to office, but yeah, more or less it's working fine.
But 5 days of working and people are saying no, that's really shocking.
Yes, people have opinion. I know so many that they don't even want to go once in a month to office. There are all sort of examples around. But when I talk to people, in my experience and also the research that I was talking to you about, it says around 30-40% people are very comfortable coming back to office 5 days a week. It's around 20% who want to work out of home, and the remaining guys have no opinion. They want a hybrid situation that once in a week, twice in a week we work out of home. Rest we want to come back to office. So office spaces are going to stay. They are not going anywhere. It's not that office spaces are going to close. That's not happening. Yes, the nature of office spaces are changing.
Right.
Yeah, so it may be one seat for two people. You have a flexi timing, you have a flexi work culture, or you have a flexible space in the office for you, and lots of open spaces. You have, lots of people are now health conscious. So you have a gym in office, you have a games room in office. They need all that to be in office to do things. So yeah, that's how
So employees are now looking for reasons which motivate them to come to office.
Yes.
And I think that's a good point, that post-COVID, what has happened is people talk about employees never coming back to office and if offices will only become extinct. But the better perspective is that the new way of thinking and designing offices has changed.
Yes.
Which is, I think, what you have done successfully, which makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So employees don't want to come to office. But when they do want to come, they always complain, right? So this is always talked about in admin, that employee complaints are always exaggerated. Is that true?
Somewhat. Some cases, yes. But another viewpoint. I'm sorry, but if I'm going away from the.
Please, you can digress all you want.
Just sharing my viewpoint to this. That also, just to add that also, it's been said more frequently that admin is a thankless job. It's part of the same thing that
Correct.
we have always been hearing, and I somehow hate that term. Frankly, I believe that it's about you. How do you want to portray your job? How do you take it? How do you talk to people? See, employee will only come to you complaining when he actually need help. Why would somebody come to you every day and just keep crying? No.
Right.
So that's what I always tell my team as well, that one important part of our job is to be available and listen. Not possible that every time I'll be able to give you an answer. But yes, I am listening to you. That's also a very good feeling for a other person who's right now in situation and he need help. He's calling you because he need help. So please understand that, and that's what I follow, and that has actually changed my perspective. I believe that people give you enough credit. It's not a thankless job. It's not only about complaint management. Admin is. It's much more. And if you change certain of your thinking, it's very much achievable. So yeah, this is my perspective. May not be your audience agree to it, most of them, but yeah, this is what I believe.
No, that's what we are here to do. We are here to get multiple perspectives. So yeah, that totally makes sense. Another thing I want to understand from you is talking about the admin segment or the admin as an entire community. Do you think it is still male dominated, or is it something which is evolving, getting better?
I would say before my last stint with RBL, when I was RBL, I have not worked with many female colleagues. So I didn't have that perspective. And then actually now in my last stint and now also I'm working with many female colleagues. And that has changed my perspective. If you would have asked me maybe 10 years back, 12 years back, that if I believe that, I would have somewhat said yes. I would be biased towards that. But once I've worked with them, they're equally good. You can't, I can't say there is anything that a male can do better in admin, a female can't.
Right.
Yeah, so it's equal or more, even more. I would say that, yeah. So this is my view.
Which is why my question, that why aren't more females seen in admin leadership roles? Why do you think that has turned out the way it is?
No, there are many, but it's also about your own choice as well, right? So, I would motivate lots of female viewers of yours to take admin as a serious career option. It's wonderful. I think you can add lots of value to the kind of perspective that we bring to the table in admin. Yeah. So I think that's about it. I think they should try it more. It's interesting.
That's great on your part. Besides, I really want to understand from all my guests is that it's always said, right, that corporate decision making is very slow. This is the term or a phrase which is always used with corporates. Why is that so?
Again would have a different perspective to it. It depends on what are we talking about. Okay. I personally believe one of my strengths is to decide fast. And so is my seniors or my mentors that I've worked with. That is one thing that differentiate you from the rest. It may be maybe the culture in certain organization, but not the organization that I've worked for.
Okay.
It's very different there, very refreshing. But yes, in certain cases, there is a change because you have to understand there is change in business dynamics. If that is causing certain delay, that would happen. So that you can't fight with. You have to understand a bigger picture. If that is good for the company, that you have, all decisions are not right. You need to also acknowledge that you've taken wrong decisions. If there's a decision that you have taken which is not working in favor of the business and you want to withhold it, you should. I should better support it. It's good for the organization.
Right.
So that may be the case, but otherwise. In my experience, the decisions are done quite fast. So
I believe you're one of the lucky people then.
Yeah, I believe so.
So that's great. If you take quick decisions and the leadership also allows you to do that, that's one thing which is really good, because at least I, in my experience, have seen that corporates take forever to take decisions, and if not take decisions, then implement them. Maybe that is where they lack the speed. We do this segment in the corner office called Vendor Spotlight.
Okay.
In which we talk about the vendor ecosystem, in the sense that I'm sure you'd be interacting and talking to and dealing with thousands of vendors, right, in your work. So we wanted to understand more how, from the client side, a vendor is looked at. For example, again, how do you judge a vendor in one meeting?
Yeah.
Or what do you expect? What is the perfect vendor?
Okay. First, there's nothing called perfect, right? So it's all, we are all learning and we are all developing. So that's one. But yes, what I look at a person when I meet a new person. So see, one is that you need certain things which are essentials. And I believe, we all have those essentials in place.
Right.
Yeah. So there's a different category and different requirement for essentials. Then comes the new space. So when I meet a person in 15 minutes, as you said, if I meet somebody and I will be interested to take it forward or not, is the idea. Is the idea which is different, which is innovative, and which will add value to the space that I'm in. Okay. If you have that idea, I normally tell, make me a guinea pig in this, that come and tell me a brilliant idea. I will help you and I will see that we implement it. I'm not saying I'll pay extra for it, but I'm saying if you want to implement it, you want to try it, I'm there to support.
Right.
Yeah. So that's what I get attracted at. If you have some idea which is unique, which has not been tried for, so, and will definitely add value, and I see that you convince me that it will add value to my organization. Yeah, that's something which I look at.
Right. So creativity and addition of value.
Yes. And then is something called essentials. Now for essentials, it's how do you add value to the buck that we are paying? Is there a way to better that buck, that we are paying out? Right. So if you have such ideas which can improve the costing or a better material that can enhance the value of the asset or the product that we are using or experience of the user, that attracts me.
Right. So going one step ahead, how important does vendor digitization play? Because it's not only one or two vendors that you're dealing with, right? You're dealing with multiple vendors and you're dealing with multiple locations. So how important is vendor digitization?
Very important. But this term is also get misused a lot. So digitization again should support you to support me.
Right.
Just because you're digitizing something, but it's not really supporting you, neither is supporting me, and we're still doing the manual work.
Correct.
Then there's no point. So digitization and AI kind of misused a lot in certain areas, but yeah, if there's something which is really add the value to the product, and yeah, digitization is very important because and it make it seamless and simple. Then the digitization makes sense.
Okay. So within the vendor ecosystem, one more outdated practice, if I may say, is taking three quotes. Right? This is something that I've always seen, and it is done literally for namesake.
Yes.
Why is it still relevant, and why haven't we gone beyond it?
Yeah, true. See, it's relevant in certain, it has some sense to it that, obviously you don't want to just overspend. Because you're in need of something urgent and you're just going by blindly about it, whatever quote you got, that's also not right way to do it. But alternative, which we follow, and obviously I can't say that we can eliminate it. There are so many new products that comes every day.
Correct.
You can't BOQ or you can't itemize everything. There will be something new. In that case, you may still need three quotes. So I'm not really saying that we don't need it. But yeah, making a rate contract and trying to itemize things the maximum you can, that saves you from this pain.
Correct.
Yeah. I agree when you said that, it's just done for the heck of doing it, So, yeah, that's true in certain cases that, obviously how many times you will keep quoting and not getting the job, right? Eventually the partner itself will say that, dude, I'm not quoting for you.
Exactly.
So that happens, So that's very, very natural. But yeah, rate contract is the other alternative that we follow, that you get it done. You have all the rate contracts in line, and there you go. No need to three quotes.
Right.
You have a preferred partner and preferred rate.
I hope that does happen in the near future.
Yes.
Besides that, anything in the vendor partnerships that has changed, in the sense that your relationship with vendors earlier was different, and how has it evolved throughout the years?
The way we interact has changed, but physical meetings are still very important. I'm not really doing away with that. But yes, when I say like we are moving to a dashboard for our data, there are multiple partners who present those dashboards to you in a right way. And those are very customizable. If I need to see some things, I will only see those things. I don't want your full data to come to me every day. I can't see every daily mail or hourly mail or year, updates. But when I want to see, I should have it in front of me in the way I want to see it.
Right. You're a dashboard person.
Yeah, so that has made it very simple for me, and it's easier for me. Example, another partner we are working with is we are changing all our command center is normally a CCTV repository of all my branches. We are starting with a small setup of 50-60 branches. Normally a command center is like there is a live person sitting behind a TV screen watching it 24 hours, analyzing it and then raising alarms whenever there's a issue.
Correct.
And we are moving towards a hand-free command center, right? So I get a day-end report. I expect to get a day-end report where I should know X, Y, and Z that I've already defined. That these are the few parameters my camera should analyze, and through AI, I should get an alarm if there is anything going wrong. Maybe if I don't want 20 people standing in my branch. As soon as there are 20 people in the branch, the camera will give me alert that 20 people in the branch.
Wow.
So, and I get a kind of a daily log, how many times such incident happen, and I can go back to those incidents and see them in live, in what has happened, why it caused such a chaos in my branch, and what time my branch opened, what time my branch closed. All that a camera will tell you, auto alert. You don't need somebody sitting behind or asking people what time you opened, what time you closed. All that is gone. So that's something which is improving and making my life simple.
Right.
So, and obviously so is for the organization as such.
So that's very good use of tech. If you don't have a person sitting to watch the cameras and the camera directly feeding you data, that must really help a lot and cut down cost, at the same time optimize the cost, like we mentioned earlier. Okay, I think we can move on to the next segment, which is the rapid fire.
Wow.
If you're ready for it.
Yes, we are. So yeah.
Not at all scary. We have some very basic questions.
Sure.
Okay. So office desk, messy or minimal?
I am a little messy person here. Not minimal for sure. In between somewhere, yes. Yeah, true.
Right. One thing you always carry to work?
My phone, that's something which will go with me. Another thing is ID card. If I'm going to office, I need my ID card with me.
Most used app on your phone, except for WhatsApp, of course.
Yeah, okay. Most used app. I would say InShot.
In shorts.
Yes,
Right,
that
right.
helps me to keep updated in a very, very short time. So yeah, you can't see the news for long.
Favorite city to work in India and why?
My maximum time I've spent in Mumbai, so I would say Mumbai.
Hmm.
Why? Obviously, there are too many negatives, and let's not go there. It's too many other things. What I like about Mumbai is that you are your own. So in the sense, nobody's bothered about you and disturbing you. If you want to, it has a very good pace. The week goes by swinging, weekend comes, weekend goes again, we are again in the same thing. Some people do not like it, but I really enjoy it. It's very difficult for me to sit idle, do nothing. That's something which really concerns me. And Mumbai doesn't allow me that. So that's something which I like about the city.
Right.
Yeah.
Family WhatsApp groups or work WhatsApp groups, which one gets muted first?
Both are muted in my phone. But yeah, if I have to choose one, it will be office. My family, oh yeah,
Okay.
My daughter won't allow that. So
Right. One quick getaway from work.
oh, I love traveling. I love holidays. And I think I'm always been told by my team that I finish all my given holidays, and I do that. I really enjoy. So we all, as a family, we travel a lot.
I could see that all over your Instagram, and you didn't still mention you're a great photographer.
Yes, I love. That's my hobby. So I love to click. Thank
Please
you.
check out. We'll put up his Instagram here. He's clicked some amazing photos,
Thank you
and
so
that is
much.
something that we didn't know about you. A book or a movie that changed your thinking.
I'm not a much of a reader. As I said, In Short is my news go app. Similarly, I like crisp and short books that I normally read on my phone. But yeah, what got you here will not get you there is one book, the last that I've really enjoyed reading. And that has changed some of my perspective.
Let's say if you had to switch departments tomorrow, which one would you choose?
No, I love admin. If option B, I'll love to stay here. But yes, HR is another thing which is closer to, it involves lots of people management. And I think, that would be
Closely
one.
associated to admin
Yes.
and hospitality.
Yes.
Right. One office trend you wish should just die.
I think paperwork. Yes. So less of papers. I would say less of unsustainable practices.
Right.
Yeah. So that's something which I think we all can do.
Should die.
Yes.
True. What's harder to handle, employees or vendors?
Out of the two, I'll say employees. Vendors, you can still push. Employees, you have to listen. So you better listen. So yeah. So I think that way I'll say employees.
I think that goes with the job.
Yeah.
What do you give more weightage to? Cost effectiveness or relationship with a vendor?
So if you have a good relationship, eventually you get the good price. So
But
it's
if you
all.
had to pick one.
If I have to pick one, cost effectiveness.
Strangest vendor gift you have received?
Oh, yeah. Sometimes people go overboard. I would say I got an iPhone once, which
Wow.
obviously I have to return. So I could not accept it. It's not allowed at all. Please do not try and do those things. It doesn't work. It doesn't work with me at least. So that's something which is a little strange.
I think I need to get an admin. What are the most atrocious employee complaint that you have?
So a little background to it before I come to it. We opened a branch in a rural area once in my last organization, and it was a sump all around the place. It was a rural branch, no other bank there, sump around. So one day I got a call from my employee that, sir, from our WC, snakes are coming out.
Oh my god.
So man, what? I checked 3 times. What are you saying, snakes? So yes, sir, snakes are coming out from the WC. So then we realized that drain of the WC goes into that sump, and that sump has some infestation of snakes, and they were coming out from the drain out. Man, that was scary, but yes, that was something which is very unique, and I never expect to get it again. So yes,
That is very scary. I don't know what kind of things admins have to do.
Yes.
Okay. Weirdest request a boss has ever made?
I think I better leave it at that. But yes,
You can say it, that's our job to be.
Yeah, so but on a lighter side, I really enjoyed one of my boss telling me he came out of the meeting. It's old. I'm not talking about the the recent ones, but yes, he came out of a meeting and said that I've done this meeting. Why don't you write the MOM? I said I was not there in the meeting. So no, I don't know. You write the minutes of meeting and just publish it. I said, oh, this is what is how can I? Not even part of the meeting. Yes.
Right. One item that mysteriously disappears in every office.
Oh yes. Spoons.
Spoons, yeah.
Yes, and
At home,
pens.
at home also.
Yeah, so they somehow have legs. They walk around. Yeah, they go
Yeah.
away.
Is there an admin WhatsApp group where you all just vent out your frustration? What is it called?
Admin WhatsApp group to vent out. Not created. I think we should create one. Good idea.
Yeah.
We should have one where we can vent out all the frustrations. Yes.
Yeah. About snakes.
Yes.
Okay. What is your go-to move to calm down an angry boss or a team?
It always works. Silence always works first, but obviously, I see that if you say, I'll get back to you, ends the conversation there. You don't have to, every time if it's not understanding, you have to push. You are not right every time. So you have to take from the other's perspective, understand, and then come back. I've seen most of the time I've gone back with the same request. It was heard much better than that same movement. So I'll get back to you works most of the time.
Right. And I've seen this a lot in you. This comes, I think, a lot from hospitality as well.
Yes.
Because the first thing that they teach you is that you never react.
Yeah.
You always absorb whatever they give.
Correct.
You go back, you figure out a solution, and you present to them.
Yeah.
So yeah, that makes sense. And finally, you think should admin heads be in the boardroom? Should admin heads be treated like CXOs?
I think we already are getting a great limelight and respect. Yes, I totally agree with that, and we should be.
I believe in this more than anything else because knowing the number of admin heads and the personalities in this department that I've known, the kind of work that is happening, especially after COVID. I know I mentioned this a lot of times, but the kind of work that admins are doing in terms of facilitating and enabling the work that goes around in a business, I think they should definitely have a seat on the board.
100%. And I think, but also we also need to evolve a little, that we should start talking in the language the business want to listen, or the management want to listen. We need to learn the language. We need to work on our own self, so that we can present it right. So we do lots of things. I agree that each one of us are doing lots of effort. But yes, we need to start talking about it a little more. We need to start presenting it in the right way.
Right.
So it been seen in a right way. So I think we need to do a little more.
So that was your rapid fire.
That was there? Wow, I didn't really.
That went smoothly. You did really well.
Where is the coffee? What is that Karan gives? So
the hamper. Yeah. We'll just get that for you. Summarizing all of this, I wanted to understand what is a management lesson, if I may say, that comes out of your career, what you have seen so far.
The lesson I would like to share, two things. One, I think I ended my last answer with that, is that we need to start talking in a way the others want to listen. We need to understand that what they want. If that's about data, you should present it in a right way. Because in admin, the biggest problem I see, I'm guilty of doing it in many years in past, is that we can't quantify what we do. We do so many things,
correct,
but we don't have a way to quantify it. So if you can find a way to quantify what you do, it becomes more relevant to others to see also. Otherwise it's very difficult to present it in the right way.
Right.
That is one. Other thing that I've learnt is to make it simple. Don't overcomplicate it. It's not complicated. It's not that complicated that, so you simplify it. How can you simplify it so it will make your own life simple? Otherwise you will be doing firefighting every day, same thing. You'll then, think it's too boring, or, why do I do this? It's thankless. All that come if you don't simplify it. Right. If you overcomplicate things. So avoid that. And I think these are the two things which worked for me, which I've learnt in my whatever experience I had a little bit, and has helped me.
Going ahead, how would you want your team to remember you as? Let's say you moved on.
That I give them a fair chance. That's one thing. And I think a little difficult thing to do, especially the appraisal cycle just got over. So, you can't be fair to everyone. But yes, I gave them a fair chance. That's one. There was enough opportunities for them to do new things, and I was there when they needed me. These are the three things which comes in my mind upfront that, I want them to remember me as.
Also, a major part of your role would depend on budgeting, right? How do you break down a budget, or how do you start making one?
budgeting happen in two ways, and kind of we follow both the processes. One is which is a zero-based budget. When I say zero-based budget, that you expect that you are a new organization, and now you develop it from zero, from a scratch, from a zero base. Yeah, so you expect that you have so many branches. Now, how many you estimate a new set? Don't go by the last year spent. Don't kind of just put in a percentage above that. If it's 500, now make it 550. Don't just do that. Make it from a scratch, which is like, that how many housekeepers I'll need, how many security guards I'll need.
Right.
Yeah, am I paying them a right salary? What is the minimum wage going on? What is the management fees over it? You question everything that you're spending. And I think that should be done in every 2-3 years once. You should follow that. It's little tedious. It takes lots of efforts, but you should do that. You should follow that practice. Another way is that you know your existing spends, and that's mostly followed. That your existing spends, you list it down, and then you know what is coming in the next year. So if you have right now 500 branches, next year expect to open another 100 branches. So you have another 100 branches on the same pro rata basis. You build those 100 branches up, and then you add the two. And anything, the new initiatives that you're taking, you add them all together, and then you present your number, which is the right number as you see, built in the inflation, the cost, the increase of wages and stuff you built in there, and you put in another number. What happens with zero base is that you put that thinking hat again.
Correct.
You have to rework. It takes time, but normally the organization, you don't get that time. You try and want to finish it very, very soon, and mostly you end up doing on the last year budget. You work over it. Yeah,
that's a great approach, because zero base is a concept I really liked, because it makes you think everything from scratch again and not just assume.
Yeah.
In a normal budget, I'm sure there'll be 100 assumptions,
Yes.
and some percentage even above on that.
Yes.
So zero base sounds like a really good strategy, even though it might take some time, but it'll give you better results maybe.
Yes, and also it used to be a very, very tedious exercise. Very, very tedious exercise initially, when you didn't had the control and the numbers with you. But once you know exactly every penny that you're spending, and it's available, as I said, the dashboard is about that. You know what you're spending, where you're spending, to whom you're paying. If you have the data with you, it becomes much easier.
Right.
Yeah, so that makes it simpler.
So what is the meaning of job satisfaction for you? You think, have you achieved job satisfaction, or is that something you're still looking for?
So I'm quite content in that way. For me, job satisfaction means that I should enjoy going to office tomorrow.
Right.
That is job satisfaction for me. For me, my family time is very, very important. As I mentioned that, and that I take all my holidays, we go out, we travel. But yes, I should enjoy going back on a Monday to my office. That is a job satisfaction for me, as simple as that. And up till now, I'm really enjoying. So yes, I have job satisfaction, I can say that.
So you look forward to the next day.
Yes.
Right. So I've seen you're very active in networking groups, in conferences, and you actively not only take part in them, you aggregate them, you hold these discussions, and I've even seen you being a judge or a jury in one of these conferences. So can you tell us more about conferences in these in our industry?
There are many interesting groups. I'm part of one, but there are many more. Personally, I really appreciate what GACS is doing, that I'm part of. And actually, if you say that I am doing enough, you need to see others. I joke around with my colleagues there that some of them has 48 hours in a day instead of 24. The kind of work they're doing.
Right.
So I actually, I think, doing much lesser than what they all are doing. So that's wonderful. Another one is CRISP in Mumbai. They're doing quite well. It's another forum which get all admin guys together, like GACS and CRISP. They get all admin guys together, and they work for the community in terms of knowledge sharing. So these are certain forms which I enjoy going to and attending.
Okay. One guest you would like to invite next for the corner office?
There's so many. I think those who are listening to me, my admin friends, you should come. Captain Rajesh, Tanmay, Samir Saxena, Rahul Lal, guys, do come. It's interesting to hear you talk about what all we do in Edwin. And yes, so these are the few names. I am sure there are many more.
Lastly, what ahead? What now for Aman Malhotra? What next in life, in personally or career-wise?
Uh, Personally, I'm my daughter is growing, and I'm looking very excitedly looking at her career ahead. How does she shapes out? I'm sure she'll do wonders. So yeah, that's on a personal side. That's something which is very exciting. Uh, Professionally, yeah, I think uh, if I if the opportunity comes, I would like to manage more than just pan India. Maybe a kind of where I have offices out of India, which so I can learn how does they operate, how can I add value there. So I'm not done that. So that's something which will excite me if there's the right opportunity. Yes.
Thank you so much.
My pleasure,
This
Rashid.
has
It
been a lot of
was
fun. If you would like to say anything, you can tell our viewers.
No,
How was your experience coming here at the corner office?
very nice. As I told you initially, that I was a little nervous, but you made me so comfortable. Once it started, it was good. Thank you so much for having me. And that's what they say at the end of all podcasts. Subscribe the channel so he can get more of us here, and we can talk to you about our experience. Thank you so much.
That's so
Thank
sweet.
you. Thank you.
Please listen to him, subscribe, and share our content. And
Yes.
thank you for giving us your time.
My pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
What Aman shared today isn't just about offices, it's about intentions. Whether you're leading people, managing vendors, or designing a space, what really matters is why you build it, not what you built. This is the corner office, and if what you're thinking is how your workplace is designed, then that is the real takeaway. Thank you so much, and wait for the next episode. Thank you so much for watching this episode. If you liked our content, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel on YouTube and follow us on LinkedIn. Thank you.